Hey YouTube, CanadianBeaverGaming here, bringing you to the first ever Pokemon how-to video on the channel. In this series, I'm going to be showing you guys a Pokemon and how to use it. So I'll be telling you guys a couple different move sets. You might see a couple unique things here, as well as at the end, I'll be going through another Pokemon that works well with them. So in this video, we are going to be starting off talking about Donphan. Donphan is one of my personal favorite Pokemon. He's a strict ground type, which gives him 3 weaknesses to water, grass, and ice, but he's got some really good bulk as well as an attack stat that we'll talk about in a little bit. So to start with, we'll just switch his level down to 50 so you guys can kind of see what stats we're working with here. For the item, there are a couple different ones you can use, but we're going to start off talking with an Assault Vest set. So the Assault Vest boosts his special defense by 50%, I believe, but it means he can't use any moves that don't deal damage. For his ability, I like to run Sturdy. I think it's just a better all-around ability and guarantees that he's going to get off an attack. The moveset is really where you can mess around a little bit with him. So personally, I like to use Earthquake just to give him that stab attack, which is really powerful. For his second move slot, I like to run Stone Edge just to give it that Edge Quake combo that hits pretty well everything in the game. For his third move, one of the main reasons to use Donphan is for his rapid spin capabilities. So he can get rid of spikes, toxic spikes, stealth rock, and sticky webs in this way, and he can switch into pretty well any of those with minimal residual damage. For his final move, it's really up to you. You can run a multitude of things. You can run Knockoff to get rid of opposing Pokemon's items. You can run Gunshot to hit those fairy types hard if you need to. You can also run Seed Bomb to take on bulky water types. But my personal favorite move to use in this spot would be Ice Shard. Ice Shard has +1 priority, so it's really good for picking off weakened enemies, especially when you get hit down to that Sturdy. If you have 1 HP left, usually you're going to get off your first attack like an Earthquake, deal a ton of damage, and they won't survive with very much, hopefully, unless it's resisted. And then what you can do is just use that Ice Shard to get rid of that last little bit of HP when you get pulled down to 1. So I know you're not hitting those water types very hard, but we'll talk about that in a little bit. For EVs, you're going to be wanting to run max IVs because we're not running any hidden powers here. I would run an Adamant Nature just to maximize that attack stat, so we're going to put 252 into attack. You also want to make sure that you're taking as much as you possibly can. We're going to be running, I'm going a little bit off Smogon here because I find that their EV spreads are really well because they do all of the calculations so that you are as well prepared as you can be and take as much as you possibly can. So what I like to do here is we're going to go 172 into his HP and then the remaining 84 into his speed. That's just going to maximize his bulk and offensive power. So that's all for this Assault Vest set. So for this set, we are going to be running the Choice Band on him. That is going to maximize his attack as much as possible, allowing him to deal really heavy damage. Once again, his ability is going to be Sturdy because, once again, it's going to leave you with that 1 HP, and no matter what, you're going to get off a strong hit. So once again, we're going to start off with an Earthquake because that is his most powerful stab move. Oh, forgot to switch him back down to 50 here. Alright, so 50, not 51. There we go. Alright, then after that, I like to run the Stone Edge once again, just giving you that Edge Quake combo. Once again, though, these last moves are really up to you. You can run anything from the Seed Bomb to the Gunk Shot to the Knockoff and the Ice Shard. Personally, I like to run the Ice Shard just because if you switch in and want to just get that revenge kill really fast, it works well because the Choice Band lets you deal a bit of extra damage. Although, really any of them are viable options. Finally, in the last slot, I like to run the Seed Bomb to take out any bulky water types that try and switch into Donphan. So if you bring in Donphan against something that is not going to take an Earthquake and you know that they're going to switch out, that Seed Bomb can be used to hit hard if they try and switch into something like a Vaporeon or a Gastrodon. Because really there are no other moves that would work on Donphan that are going to hit them at all. For this, once again, max IVs because we're not running any hidden powers. Adamant Nature is going to give you your maximum attack and then 252 into attack. This time we're going to switch things around a little bit. We're still going to stick to a Smogon set because they do work very well. We're going to run 52 into his HP, and we're going to put those last 204 into speed, just to let him outspeed a little bit more. So I know I told you that we were only going to be talking about 2 Donphan sets, but this one was just too good to pass up, and I'm a really big fan of the other 2. So for this one, we're going to do something a little bit different, a little bit strange, and you probably won't see this in too many places. We are actually going to be running a weakness policy Donphan. So for this, I'll switch his level back down to 50 so you guys can take a look at what I'm talking about. So weakness policy is going to raise his attack stat by 2 stages when he's hit by any super effective move. We also, for his ability, once again, we want sturdy. Sturdy is going to be key to this set here. Moves, you're going to want your Earthquake, just like usual. That's your strongest stab move. I like to run the Stone Edge. That spot is kind of up to you, though, once again. What is imperative here, though, this one is a little bit more structured. You are going to want your Ice Shard, for sure. And then, finally, the last spot, once again, up to you. But I like the Seed Bomb. I think that is probably your best bet for any move. For your EVs here, you're going to want to run 252 into attack with, we are actually going to be running, where is it here? A Brave Nature. So this is going to minimize your speed and maximize your attack. And we'll talk about why in a minute. You're going to think I'm a little bit strange here. So here you can put your EVs either into HP or into defense, but personally I like to run them into HP just to give you that extra added overall bulk, and then your last 4 into defense. Your defense is high enough to take a hit at base 120 without too much investment, but you might want to cover up your special defense a little bit more. So I'm going to explain this set quickly because some of you are probably looking at it going, what are you talking about? So the way this is going to work is if you have your Donphan in, you're going to have your weakness policy. It's really imperative that you keep your sturdy up, though, so you aren't using him as your spinner. So what you're going to do is you're going to have him in. They're going to switch in something to take him out. So either an ice type, a grass type, or a water type, and they're probably going to try and hit you with something like a water type stab move. So, for example, we are going to talk about, actually, I was going to say Rotom Wash, but yeah, we can talk about Rotom Wash. I know they're in different tiers, but I'm not too worried about the tier system because on Wi-Fi battles, like online battles, they don't really differentiate between them. So, with this example, you have Donphan in, they have a Steelix, for example. You try and go for the Earthquake, they switch out because they don't want to take the hit, bring in the Rotom Wash, and of course your Earthquake isn't going to do anything. So now they have him in. You've got your minimized speed, so he's hopefully going to outspeed you. He's going to use his Hydro Pump to take you down to sturdy, and you're going to use your Seed Bomb. That weakness policy is going to activate the moment his Hydro Pump hits you, so your Seed Bomb is going to be at +2. You're going to take out the Rotom. The next Pokemon he brings in, you're still at +2. If you don't outspeed them, you're going to be going for your Ice Shard, and you're going to hit them as hard as you possibly can. With this Donphan, you are guaranteed to take out something for sure, and hopefully, if you have timed it properly, you might even be able to take out 2 if you predict the switch. So that is all we're going to talk about with Donphan. Now we're going to move on to who works well with Donphan and who you might consider putting in a lineup with him. Alright, so as I said, I'm not really going to be following Smogon's tiers, so what we are going to be running here is actually a Ferrothorn. So Ferrothorn resists the 3 weaknesses that Donphan has. It resists grass type moves, water type moves, and is neutral to ice types. But that is really good. We are going to be running, this is kind of up to you. You can run a Leftovers, that could work well. Personally, I like running the Rocky Helmet just because with the Iron Barb ability, which is the one you're going to want to use, it just makes any physical attacker, yeah, it's going to make them think twice before hitting you. So level, I'll switch that back down to 50. The moveset here is where we kind of get creative. Depending on which Donphan you're using, there are a couple different sets you can use. I'm going to talk about my personal favorite one to use with the Assault Vest. So remember, the Assault Vest, your plan is mainly to take a hit, to spin the rocks away, and to hit as hard as you can while you're still in there. So with the Ferrothorn, This set is going to be really, I like to think of it as unique. So my friend and I were actually, we kind of came up with it. I'm not sure if you can find it really anywhere else online. So for the first move, we are going to be using the standard Leech Seed. That's just going to let you regenerate a little bit of health, and if you predict a switch but you don't want to use one of the other moves that I'm going to talk about in a minute, you can go for the Leech Seed, and that might force a switch back out. For the second move, you're going to be wanting to run Stealth Rock, because the Donphan doesn't have the Stealth Rock. This is going to form the core defensive section of your team. So Donphan is physically defensive, so we're going to be talking about the specially defensive Ferrothorn. I probably should have mentioned that a minute ago. So Donphan can spin away any hazards. Ferrothorn can set them up really well. I am a bigger fan of Stealth Rock than Spikes, because you can set up Stealth Rock in one turn, and it works really well, especially if they have someone like a Charizard. Whereas Spikes don't affect any flying types, and to me, something like a Talonflame, it's critical that you get that Stealth Rock damage up. So these last two moves are really where it gets interesting. I actually like to run the Thunder Wave on the Ferrothorn, and because, as you see, we aren't running Gyro Ball, there are really no negative effects to running it. Then for the last slot, I like to run Knockoff. So this guy can cripple switch-ins. He works very well for that, and he is just an absolute tank. So you can set up the rocks, knock off their items, Leech Seed if you predict the switch, or Thunder Wave if you think they're going to try and not switch into a ground type or an electric type, or knock off an item if you want. It's kind of up to you with that. There are a ton of different things you can do, and it just is an all-around really good set to mess up your opponent. So for the nature here, because we want that max special defense, we are going to be going for a careful nature. So we're going to minimize that special attack, maximize your special defense. We're going to be running 252 EV investment into special defense, 252 into HP, and then the last 4 we can put into either attack or defense. I like to put them into defense just because your Leech Seed, your Stealth Rock, and your Thunder Wave don't really affect your attack at all. So I'd rather put the little bit into defense here. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you found an interesting set or something you want to use, just leave a like down below and let me know what you guys are thinking. If there are any Pokemon you want to see, I've got some ideas for a few more for future videos, but if there's anything specific you want to see, just let me know down in the comments below. Thank you guys.